All right, so here's my thing with the XXL freshman cover. The double XL freshman cover was never this thing where they were breaking new artists to people like us. And when I say people like us, I mean like me, like you. I would assume you're tapped into hip hop, new artists, albums that are coming out. I mean, you're on YouTube watching hip hop content. So for people like us, double XL was never breaking new artists. They were never like showing us something we hadn't seen before, outside of maybe one or two strays on their list where people are just like, yo, who the heck is this, right? The double XL thing, it was always a matter of, for people like us, it was always a matter of, is who's supposed to be on this list going to be on this list? Because we know implicitly who the new hot artists are, but are they going to be on here? Are they going to get it right, right? So this is the whole thing with the double XL freshman list. A lot of the times, like with this cover here, even early on, this is 2010, I think this is the best freshman list right here. You got Nipsey, J. Cole, Wiz Khalifa, Freddie Gibbs, Big Sean, J-Rock. Then you still got Fashion, shout out Fresno. Even with this list, when this came out in 2010, June 2010, whenever it was, we had already been listening to Nip. We had already been listening to Cole. Like, we already knew these guys, right? So the whole thing with the double XL, it wasn't necessarily for us breaking new artists. What made the XXL freshman list novel for people like us was they were taking artists we had already discovered through these new technological means, like on social media and on blog sites. They were taking those artists who we had already kind of crowned and started championing, and they were pumping it out to our peers who maybe had not caught up so quickly. Now, there came a point where the blog era kind of died, and then the technological advancements, it wasn't as steep as going from 2006, 2008, where we're still kind of using LimeWire and stuff, to the social media era in 2009. So what made it novel was then beginning to die, right? The technological advancements, our peers had caught up. People now, they are going on iTunes, they're digital downloading up to their iPod. Like, the technological gap became to close to where in these later double XL freshman lists, it's less novel, right? It's not like they're getting just the names wrong. It's just less novel. Because we are, even though Lil Yachty is not mainstream, we know Lil Yachty though. And not just us being, super hardcore hip hop heads, our peers too. There's not that technological gap that I was talking about earlier. Like, we've heard, the Project Baby joint by Kodak Black. And then streaming also became very ubiquitous. Like, streaming became everywhere to now a lot of these artists, they're on the front page of Spotify. Whereas in 2009, 2010, they wouldn't have been. It would have just been something you had to find, or you had to know someone who was deep into hip hop like me or you. So that's what made the double XL freshman list novel, in my opinion. Us hip hop heads, we generally knew everyone on the cover. Like, when this cover drops, we already, like, they aren't breaking any new artists to us. We knew Troy Ave was. We knew Kevin Gates. We knew Chance the, this is a good list, by the way. We knew Chance the Rapper, Vic Mensa, Dirk, you know what I mean? John Connor, Ty Dolla. Like, we knew these people. It wasn't like they were breaking it to us, but it's more so to our peers, people who are in the same age group who maybe don't have, the will or the know-how to go deep into these blog sites, deep into KTT forums, deep into, Boxden, deep into the IGN and hip hop boards, deep into these places and find these artists, and then find their work. They might not know, okay, you go to Wikipedia to find their whole discography, then you go download it, you know what I mean, on Google, but you got to find a zip file. Like, they're not knowing how to do this type of thing. The double XL freshman list. So anyway, I prefaced that to go into this post that I saw the other day. I had a semi-viral response to this. Shout out to Joey Gotham Hip Hop. Shout out to Compnany Many. So Joey posts, hip hop journalist Justin Hunt suggests that the double XL freshman Cypher format is outdated and certain artists should not be doing ciphers on the platform. So we'll let Compnany Many speak for himself. Let's see what he got to say.
With Ian, Laserdisc 700, 1900 Rugrat, Chief Baby Do It, and Nino is the perfect example. Those were not Cypher artists at all. Those are vibes, get lit, we up rappers. It's not about bar. You have these artists in a Cypher. Now, Cyphers used to be, this is where we show our skills. This is
That's right.
the localized example of competitive hip hop. This is where you just show how great you can rap.
Just to have fun too. You know, we had ciphers all the time in high school, you know, junior high school. Yeah, the dudes who really was rappers, yeah, that's when they definitely, they want to go show their skills. But for the rest of us who wasn't like super, you know, competitive rappers, it was just time to have fun, you know, spit some bars and, you know, kick it with the homies, basically.
And I don't think the artists they had in their last cypher at all are best highlighted in that format. They're better off having these guys just walk around with a iPhone and just film a day, and then they edit it into some sort of caption. They're better off showing lifestyle.
Yeah, so I have an issue with this. I do, you know, because when we talk about some of the best XXL freshman covers, which we were just looking at, all these guys aren't what we would call cypher artists. And by cypher artists, I would assume that Compnany Man means like more lyrically inclined people. Lil Bibby is not a cypher rapper, but Lil Bibby has one of my best cypher verses. Yo, let me talk my shit. Bands in my pocket, so I walk like this. Just spent 50 grand when I bought my whip. Luke told me the least, so I bumped my shit. Yo, I came in the game like LeBron James for some money and the fame, and the cars came like, yo, Bibby got one of my favorites.
And this that 84 mic flow. We don't rap beef, my squad a little psycho. Plus these rap niggas suck like lipo. I ain't forgot about the old me. Straight off the block, now I'm ballin' like Kobe.
He's not a cypher artist. Rich Homie Quan and Ty Dolla $ign. And who else was in that cypher? Dirk. None of these guys. Ty Dolla $ign, he's technically not even a rapper. Some people wouldn't even call him a rapper. Rich Homie, R.I.P., and Dirk. They have one of my favorite ciphers.
These niggas is bitches, get it info from bitches. Go and tell to the piggers, I'm trying to get riches and stand on that business. Free broke niggas snitching, my case almost over. If you lucky one penny, I put 2 on his limit, this 4-5 limit. Stand the clip for his niggas, he ain't shit to his niggas, we don't hesitate. From corner to tie.
They just go on that joint and basically create a song.
Hey, got a girl, don't go.
Yeah?
Hey, I say we got a girl, don't go.
Bang bros.
Hey, we got a girl, don't go.
Bang bros. Squad.
And it comes out nice. And Ty Dolla $ign, he's kind of freestyling, he kind of stumbling a little bit, but it's a fun, the point that I'm making is these guys, all of them are not cypher rappers. I think the suggestion that we should have these guys just walk around and get filmed and talk about their lifestyles, you know, for a XXL freshman list, which I think my monologue to open this up, I think XXL is pretty much obsolete. You guys still care about this, so I still talk about it. You notice I didn't say anything about the XXL freshman lists when they came out because I don't care. I just assumed none of us cared, but apparently we still care. So anyways, the idea that we should have these guys walking around with our iPhones and just filming themselves instead of rapping, this is called lowering the bar. And it's very rarely a good idea to lower the bar in any industry, not just rap. Lowering your bar results in bad things happening, right? You know, if you are in the military or you're in the police and you lower the standards for people to get in, you're going to have a weaker military, you're going to have a weaker police force because you're lowering the standards, right? So a lot of these freshman lists, these people, these rappers were not quote unquote cypher rappers, but they still put on memorable ciphers. Here we go, boom. Yachty, Uzi, Kodak. I guess you can call Denzel Curry a cypher rapper. I don't. Compnany Man would have to define for me what he means by cypher rappers, but certainly Yachty and Uzi wouldn't fit that mold. Yet they have one of the most memorable XXL ciphers ever.
30 on my waist, 30 to your face, 60 to your face, 90 to your face. That's a closed case.
Anderson .Paak, not a cypher rapper nor a rapper. Now he has one of the worst, XXL cypher verses ever. In my opinion, it's just horrible. But he still went out there and did it, right? And it was entertaining at the very least. And you knew he wasn't a rapper, but he was still out there putting his best foot forward for hip hop. Nipsey, not what you would think as a cypher rapper, nor Wiz, you know what I mean? And this one's probably my all-time favorite freshman list right here, 2011. You got Meek, Lil B, Mac Miller, YG, Kendrick, Big Crit, Sci-Hi the Prince, Fred the Godson, R.I.P., Lil B wasn't a Cypher rapper at all. But Lil B goes and he raps a Cypher with Sci-Hi, Yellow Wolf, and Kendrick, and has everybody in the Cypher room with him dying laughing. Even Kendrick is like, whoa, this dude's going in. So the idea that we need to have Cypher rappers, I don't think there's a precedent for that in Double XL's freshman list. Some of the best Cyphers are not composed fully of quote unquote Cypher rappers. I think Company Man was being a little tongue in cheek when he said this, but the idea that we should have these guys just walking around with an iPhone being filmed and I guess, I don't know, talking about their clothes, oh, did Chrome Heart, we are on Chrome Heart and Polo and we got that shit on. What is that doing what does that do for the consumer? What is that doing for hip hop? For people who want to check out these people's music, like, we're going to watch this nigga talk about how he got Chrome Hearts on and all this. I don't understand. I think he's being tongue-in-cheek when he says that. Like, so I'm not going to really comment too much on that. But we got like 40 more seconds. Let's see what else we got to say.
iPhone and just film a day, and then they edit it into some sort of caption. They're better off showing lifestyle. They're better off just having them highlight how they made a song that people seem to like more than
that would be nice. See the creative process. I would like that.
Than the Cypher, or at least allow them all to make their own song. I don't know, but whatever that was.
Yeah, Double XL used to do that.
I got what you need. Bitch, they love it. Bitch, they love it. Bitches do love it though. Roll up the weed. We don't love them back. Everything's on the iPhone with me. Hit that money ball. Nigga, I'm Big Sean, what up, nigga? I'm from the streets. Bitch, fuck the lead.
And so that, again, to me, is a management issue. It's a lack of innovation issue, right? They've been still doing Cyphers because they've always done Cyphers. But the nature of the rapper has evolved since 2010, 2009, 8, whenever they started. The nature of the rapper has evolved quite a bit. But they're still locked into the same format.
I would disagree. I don't think it's outdated. And he didn't use that word. That's kind of what Joey Gotham put in the caption. But it's what he's hinting at. These are kind of older form. Rappers have evolved past doing Cyphers, which I just vehemently disagree with. Cypher is a staple part of hip hop. It's been there since like the beginnings, the block parties, at the park and all that. They was DJing, and at a certain point they started rapping, doing Cyphers, right? So I don't think like the rappers have evolved so much that they've moved past the point of Cyphers. The issue is the rappers they're picking suck. They suck at rapping. And obviously this is a subjective opinion, but I think it echoes true based on what we see in these newer Double XL Cyphers. The rappers suck. They can't rap that well. Double XL has already done so much to acquiesce to these rappers. When you look at some of these Cyphers, the more recent ones, let's say in the past 10 years, the Cyphers are so blotched. Like, it's not one continuous Cypher. Like, these guys, these rappers, they're constantly punching in during a Cypher, punching in. The reason they keep punching in is because they keep messing up. They can't rap the whole verse continuously. So they rap a little bit, messed up, DJ, run it back. Pick up where they left off, and then you got all these camera cuts in the Cypher because there's all these edits because they can't rap continuously. And that's just one issue, right? We have an issue in hip hop where old niggas, we don't want to sound like old niggas. And I put myself in the old nigga category. But old niggas don't want to be called old niggas. Like, oh, you an old head. They don't want to be brushed off and dismissed for sounding old. So they won't say certain shit that they know to be true, right? They'll just go along with it. This happens a lot on the Joe Budden podcast. Maybe not so much with the new crew, because I don't really watch it with the new crew. But I've just seen like old niggas, they don't want to, like, they fear that a little bit in hip hop. They don't want to be called an old nigga. You know what I mean? So they won't say certain things about the younger rappers. They'll say some stuff like, oh, it ain't for me or this and that, which is harmful. We talk so much about gatekeeping in hip hop. This is the time to gatekeep. If you ain't gonna gatekeep to protect the craft and to try to protect the quality, what is you gatekeeping for? You know what I mean? We gatekeeping nowadays, and y'all have heard me go on this rant many times. People want to gatekeep based on, oh, well, he's white. Oh, well, he's from the culture. Oh, well, he ain't from the culture. Well, this and that. You gatekeeping on stupid shit. If you want gatekeep based on the art, to protect the art, to uphold the quality of the art. But the issue is old niggas don't want to sound like old. They don't want to be called an old nigga. So they don't. They let stuff slide and, yo, let's lower the bar for the, something we've always done in hip hop. Yeah, Cyphers, yo, those is out of date. Yeah, rappers have evolved past the Cypher. No, you haven't. It's still rapping at the end of the day. These guys haven't unlocked a new, audio frequency to where they're doing some shit on a whole nother audio frequency that's so evolutionized, like speaking can't even be encompassed within it. Like, yo, we doing some shit that's way past simply speaking. That's not what's happening. Cypher stays. The freestyles stay. I'll go to a couple of, first my response to this, right? So they posted this, shout out Joey, shout out Compnany Many. They said, and I say, nah, I disagree. Make them niggas rap. I disagree with this premise, everything. Make them niggas rap. When they suck, everybody needs to laugh at them. Cyphers are a staple part of hip hop. Don't change it for vibe/get lit niggas. This is facts. Facts! Again, we want to gatekeep on so much stupid shit in hip hop and just black people in general. We gatekeep on some stupid shit. Like, there's a time to gatekeep, but it's like we just can't recognize like the time where gatekeeping needs to start happening. You gatekeep in hip hop in this position to protect the craft, protect the quality, protect certain things that are staples, part of hip hop. It's like Cyphers and freestyles. Not gatekeeping on a nigga because he's from the suburbs or because he's Indian or something. What the hell? So I kind of replied to some of these responses that I got. So the Oreo Admiral, shout out Oreo Admiral, he be on my timeline a lot, shout out to him. He says, yo, it's bad marketing on XXL's part to put out a bad product like that. Like the first Cypher they dropped. They got to pick better people. They should try to highlight the artist's strengths. They can definitely keep the Cypher and tailor it differently. So I respect all opinions, but I do disagree with this. I don't think XXL is putting out a bad product. XXL has been putting out the same product. And I guess this is to Compnany Man's point. The point, I guess, that he's making is that they need to change it up. But, I disagree with that, but I can understand what he's saying there. I don't think XXL is putting out a bad product. XXL is putting out the same product they've always put out. Magazine cover, freestyle, Cypher. That's the product. And actually, the product has gotten better when we talk about production. You know what I mean? When you compare this, and I haven't even seen these new Cyphers this year, but I saw the ones last year. But let's say 2024 XXL, not freestyle. We'll go freshman Cypher. When you look at even the production quality, right? Everything's better. Production-wise. We talking about camera crew, we talking about edits, camera angles, you know what I mean? And not to mention all the times their editing crew has to go in and punch in for when these guys mess up, right? It's better than before. The production quality has stepped up. So I don't think the product is the issue. The issue is the artists they're picking suck. They suck at rapping. They should try to highlight the artist's strengths. I disagree. This isn't XXL's job to highlight the artist's strengths. You know what I mean? It's up to the artist to highlight their strengths. Like, what the hell? Like, it's up to the talent. The talent is being given an opportunity. It's up to you to go in there as a creative person and highlight your strengths. Like, why would that be XXL's responsibility? XXL has done their part by giving them the platform. So now XXL got to highlight their strengths. Again, we're lowering the bar, right? We're lowering the bar, and someone's eventually got to come in and gatekeep on some shit. Like, no, we're not doing that. If you mess up during this Cypher, we're gonna keep it in, and you're just gonna go viral for just not being good or for messing up a million times. Like, we're not gonna keep doing this and lowering the bar for y'all. Fudge Bars. He says, yo, the thing is, so many of them can't rap in that setting, and the ones that can don't get any recognition. I agree with that. I think there's really two very simple issues here, and it's not XXL's product. It's not in terms it's their product because of who they're picking. But it's not that, yo, we need to just highlight these guys' clothes and their lifestyles. No, the issue is, number one, the artists that XXL are picking suck at rapping. It's just a fact.
Facts.
Well, it's an opinion, right? But we're going to say it's a fact.
Facts.
The second issue is XXL just needs to pick better people. You need to pick better people, not necessarily Cypher people or Cypher or lyricist rappers, but you need to just pick better rappers and you're going to get a better result. Now Doggy says, yo, the vibe get lit people never belonged on it to begin with. That's why things like Cyphers or the freshman list hold no weight to the new hip hop fans. Facts. Yeah, facts. I mean, in perfect example, XXL, they lowered their own standards. See how lowering standards does not result in good things happening? Since 2017, I felt they should have just stopped forcing Cyphers. It's not lowering standards. It's just not forcing dudes in the lane they clearly don't want to be a part of. Forcing Travis Scott to freestyle will never be an adequate assessment of his great songwriting. Just adapt. So there's this idea that, yo, the newer people, they're not as great of rappers, but they're great songwriters. And that's not true either. Like, they're just not better at any of it. Like the idea that, yo, Laser Dim, 5000 and Mega Man, whoever his name is, and Ian, oh, they've evolved. They're not just rappers, they're great songwriters. That's not true either. That's not true either. And it's no one is forcing these guys in the lane. They're choosing to be a part of the XXL freshman cover because it's a big platform. And a part of that is going up there and rapping. And it's not like you're being surprised, like they're just surprising you, freestyle, Cypher. No, you know you're going to do this. This has been happening for almost 2 decades now. You know you're going to go up there, you're going to freestyle, and you're going to Cypher, right? Or invest in rappers who actually rap by giving them that platform. There's no need in wasting anyone's time. Vibe, get lit rappers have no place in a Cypher built on actual rapping, so don't put them in one. I actually think there are vibe, get lit rappers, let's say like Wiz Khalifa in 2011. Wiz Khalifa is a vibe, get lit rapper. Right? Maybe not like these in the same vein as these newer guys, but for his era, Wiz was a vibes rapper. And he done well on his XXL performance. So I don't think the issue is the vibe get lit. We can start there, though, by just doing a complete reset, right? But I don't think they're the issue. I think the issue solely is the talent level. It's the talent level. Because a vibe get lit rapper, there are plenty of them who can still rap, who can go in the middle of 6 people and spit some bars and leave. Like, that exists. I like this response right here. Blaine Corley, he said, yo, when niggas stunk at the Apollo, they knew in that moment. He said, make the Cyphers live with an audience. So he's going full like, yo, let's put more heat on them. Yo, embarrassing them on the internet ain't enough. Yo, make them Cypher in front of a live audience so they get laughed at. See, this is going a bit further than I would, but I understand the sentiment. Yeah, we should not be, and I guess what me and him have in common is we both agree we should not be lowering the bar. He's like, yo, we need to actually raise the bar, put him in front of a live audience. That's crazy. And we'll do one more. We'll read one more. Big Hero 6, she says, I don't think that's what he's saying. There are different styles of rap. Having vibe rappers in a Cypher is a waste. I don't think it's a waste. We've had plenty of vibe rappers do freestyles and Cyphers before, and they've done a good job. I don't think it's a waste. I think that's lowering the bar. So now I think that's lowering the bar for vibe rappers, right? It's kind of like infantilizing them a little bit. If you're going to have a freshman Cypher, pick Cypher-styled artists. We already talked about this. They're Cypher-styled artists. First, you got to break down what that means. I would assume that most people would come to the consensus that a Cypher-styled artist means like a more lyrical artist, but that's not necessary. We just talked about Lil Bibby having one of my favorite Cyphers. We just talked about Rich Homie Quan, Dirk, and Ty Dolla $ign having a great Cypher where they basically crafted a song on the spot, freestyling. It wasn't the best raps, but it was fun. It was good. It was something like you would see in high school when you in school cyphering with your homies. So like the idea that we need Cypher-styled artists, it's kind of letting the weak rappers off the hook. No, we need better rappers doing this. It's not like we just need Cypher-styled artists. We need better rappers. And it's just been this common complaint that I've had with hip-hop over the past couple of years. The new artists, they just suck. They're just not good. There's not many standouts. They're like, it's all one take. You can tell when you listen to their music, it's one take. That's why when you have something like Clips drop, people are like, oh, wow. Like, that's arguably not even the Clips' best album. But this is why when you have something like that drop, people are like in awe. Because look at the product that we're getting nowadays. Like a product like the Clips where you could tell they sat, they took their time, they wrote their stuff out, they polished it, they went in the studio and they rapped it until it sounded up to spec. We're at a point where that just sounds like we're listening to, you know, Beethoven or Mozart. Because nowadays it's just one take, non sequitur. We're just saying whatever's coming off the top of our head. And now the consequence of this is reflected in the Cyphers. These guys are going in, punching in the studio, not saying anything, not really writing their raps. They don't like, when I say not writing, I don't mean they got ghostwriters. I mean, literally, do they got a rhyme book? Do they have like topics? All this comes out in the rinse when you put them in the cypher with each other. And it's just not good every time. The issue to me isn't vibe rappers. I like vibe rappers. Currency is a vibe rapper. Wiz Khalifa, vibes rapper. You know, there are plenty of vibes rappers who I like. I think we are infantilizing them by saying, oh, they shouldn't be put in a cypher. Oh, because, you know, they're not that good. That's not what they do. No, you're a rapper, though. And, you know, we should pick cypher-styled artists. No, we shouldn't. I mean, we should have some. But the newer artists, they could just be better at rapping. So anyway, I think the way that XXL, they can shake this. This isn't irredeemable. The way XXL is going to matter, again, to a lot of people, is if 1 year they just have a cypher that's so good, that people have to watch. People like me and you, the hip hop elitists, you know what I mean? We feel we have to watch. And then after we watch, yo, we got to wax poetic about it. Yo, that was so good. Da-da-da. And this new person, or this person went in and that person, that. The way XXL gets over this, because I'm surprised you guys still even care about this stuff, right? So obviously, XXL, they've built a brand name in the freshman list that stood the test of time, right? The way they're going to get over this hump is they're going to have to release. They're going to put out a cypher that's so good that it makes people go watch it, tap in. You know, like how Big Sean and Absol and Joey, they all did that Red Bull cypher. Yeah, it's possible. It's doable. If you just got rappers that can rap well, you know what I mean? They're going to put out, XXL is going to put out a cypher that's so good. And then that's going to build people's expectations for the next year. So next year they're going to watch. People like us are going to watch just based off the strength of what happened that previous year. And be like, I gotta watch this. And then now, just like that, XXL is known for having great cyphers. Rappers come in and spit some great bars. That's where I'm at with it. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. Yo, should we lower the standards? Do y'all view it as lowering standards? Vibe rappers, cypher, there's so many things you can leave a comment about in this video. I think I touched on a lot of different points. So anyway, that's all I got for today. Top5rapwebsite.com. Peace.